We're just 2 months away now from the Aussie Millions. It's probably the most anticipated series we've seen in the Asia Pacific region in many, many years. And I'm super pleased to be joined today by the latest Aussie Millions ambassador, Van Marcus. How are you going?
Hey man, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I don't know, some of our audience may not know you as well, particularly the younger ones who weren't around back in the day. But obviously,
Yeah.
you've been on the global poker scene, the Australian poker scene for many, many years. I mean, I want to say 20 years at least. For those that don't know you, can you run us a bit about your poker story? I mean, how did you sort of get started in the game of poker in general?
Actually, the very first time I got introduced to cards and poker was a very, very young age. I was like 8 years old. So my uncle was playing in a home game with some friends, and I was just intrigued with cards and the game. And then kind of transitioned into magic tricks with cards, things like that. But I got really serious about poker when I was around 16, 17. I started watching my first time I watched the movie Rounders, like a lot of us did back in the day. And when I got to the age of 18, I went and played my first live hand at Crown Casino. Back then, it wasn't digital screens. Everything was recorded, written down on blackboards. And I think the smallest limit games were like $2 and $4, things like that. And that's where my career started to take off. And then I transitioned to online and started playing international tournaments. And yeah, so that was the beginning of it.
Did you have a talent for it straight away? I mean, when did you sort of start to realize that this could be a career for you?
Well, I've always been into like mental sport games like chess, things like that. So when I got introduced, when I first started learning about poker and learning that it was a strategic game, I started looking into it, started studying it. I read Sklansky's first books. These is old schools books back in the day, and I just loved the game, loved the challenge of it. And once I got the bug, it was no return after that. And I've been playing for almost 24 years.
Hmm.
Yeah,
What would you say was your sort of breakthrough moment?
I think cash games online and slowly transitioning up through the stakes, moving up higher and higher as my bankroll grew. It wasn't any specific big moment that I had. Of course, I've had some pretty high scores in tournaments in Vegas, the World Series, almost coming to winning a few different bracelets in the Omaha events. But one of the big tournaments that I really was very proud of was winning APPT Manila. That was back in the day, the PokerStars event, and I final tabled the televised event, the same event the year before, where I came fourth. But otherwise, yeah, just playing online and live, and then kind of making a name myself in Australia. Yeah.
Hmm. Because that was, of course, the day where online was booming in Australia. So you were primarily an online player, weren't you?
Yeah, I played a lot of online, and then during the day and then at night I would go and play cash games at Crown.
Hmm.
And then with the Aussie Millions, then that was like a full-time thing. During the weeks of Aussie Millions, we would play the high stakes cash games and then the tournaments. And yeah, Aussie Millions has always been one of the best events that I've ever been to. So my hometown as well. So.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, you were probably a pot limit Omaha specialist, really, as well, more so than Hold'em.
Yeah, definitely online. I mean, I started off as a limit hold'em player and then no limit hold'em player, but then I moved on to a lot of PLO. I like the action and but now with the tournaments, I've been playing a lot more hold'em. So I play pretty much anything I can get.
Yeah, right, right. Of course, the other thing we talk about the online days, you were a sponsored Full Tilt Pro as well. Maybe
Yeah,
for those who don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, you could explain. I mean, Full Tilt was obviously one of the leading online sites at that time,
yes,
alongside
yes.
PokerStars. So how did
Yeah.
that come about, and what are your sort of memories of being a pro?
Actually, in fact, I've been sponsored by PokerStars and Full Tilt. I
Right.
was 3 years, 4 years with PokerStars, and then 3 years as a Full Tilt Red Pro, which would be an online pro. You'd have your name on there, and you would be playing, and people would know who you are. You'd play in some events and travel the world, get sponsored by these companies like Full Tilt and PokerStars to play. And actually, when I won APPT, I was a PokerStars sponsored player. And then I also did well in Cyprus, coming third in a big Full Tilt tournament there. So yeah, and being sponsored is a great thing. You get to represent the company, get to represent the brand, and they look after you as well. So
Mm. Yes, pretty crazy times. I mean, it's a little bit different these days, but you must have some stories that we cannot talk about on this interview.
oh, there's many stories. It's gonna take more longer than this interview, but yeah, a lot of good times, a lot of good stories. And it was the boom of the poker. It was the poker boom back then, and yeah, the sponsorship deals were flying all over the place.
Sure, sure. And we should talk about that APPT Manila win. I mean, I think the first time I met you was the year before 2007 APPT Manila, the first one ever. And then a year later you won. What are your sort of memories of your run through that tournament in '08?
In the 2007, I came fourth. I was chip leader with 4 or 5 players to go, and then I got into a few dicey situations, and the cards didn't fall my way, and unfortunately, I went out fourth. That was the first, I believe, the first ever televised event in Asia. So right away, I got some good exposure there, and then the year after, I came back and won the same tournament. So I had for 2 years in a row, the first 2 years that poker was on TV, I was on both final tables. So back then, I got to be really well known in Asia, and I even remember visiting a local casino a few months later, and I had a standing ovation, which is something really strange. It was an incredible moment, and yeah, it was some great times.
Before we talk about the Aussie Millions specifically coming back, but I mean, like I said, I've known you for a long time, but I haven't seen you for a while. I mean, I think you're living overseas now. So what have you been up
Yes.
to aside from poker the past 10 years or so?
I moved to Europe. I'm actually currently in Sweden. I started a family. I have 2 young girls, and I've been playing a lot of cash games online, live. I haven't traveled so much when they were younger, but now the last few years I've been traveling around EPTs, uh, Kings of Tallinn, as well as Rosvadov, doing the WSOPE there. I've had some good, decent, deep runs, but not any major titles recently. Yeah.
And I've seen that you've sort of popped up in a couple of tournaments on home soil as well the past couple of years.
Yeah. Every time I come to visit family in Australia, I try to look around the schedule of what's happening. And just recently, I was at Crown for the Crown end of year poker series. I played a few events there, and I had a deep run in the WPT Gold Coast where I came 10th. I think that was the year before that. Yeah.
Sure. So, Van, obviously playing the game for over 20 years. I mean, how much do you think the game has changed in that time, then till now?
A huge amount, actually. Back in the day, the old school days, poker was more of a field game. You know, you'd bet, you'd get raised, you'd have a look at your opponent. Does he have it? Does he not have it? So I actually loved that about the game back in the day too. Now, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, everything changes over time. It's become a very mathematical, with all this GTO software out there, and that's okay because it brings a more young crowd into it as well. So the game definitely has changed. When I used to study back in the day, poker, there was some software, but it was mostly books. It was all mostly books, and then you'd have to get experience. That's the best way to do it. So I used to play a lot of hands online, millions of hands actually, on PokerStars and other sites like that, as well as playing live. But nowadays, with GTO software, it's easier to study and become a world-class player than it was back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Aussie Millions, obviously, as I said at the start, it's probably the most anticipated series return in many years. What does it mean to you to see the Aussie Millions come back?
I've played in tournaments all around the world, cash games all around the world, but I think nothing is quite like the feeling of the Aussie Millions. Not only is it like a local thing where I know everyone, I'm very comfortable. It's my home soil. There would be no feeling as amazing as winning the Aussie
Mm.
Millions. You got your World Series of Poker bracelets and EPTs, but winning it would mean the world. And not only that, I come to play. Not only do I come to play and enjoy poker there, but there's also so many things to do. You know, at Crown, some of the finest restaurants in the world. My favorite place there, they used to actually go 3-4 times a week. Coco's, I don't know if you've been, the teppanyaki place there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I just heard recently that they're opening Victor Churchill in mid 2027. So I'll be trying to get myself on the list for the opening for that. So yeah, it's just a great place. Like not only to play, but also you could take your family there. Lots of things to do: cinemas, arcades, swimming pools. And it's like how they say it's a world of entertainment. And it's
Yeah.
yeah. So I really enjoy the place. It's not only about playing poker and the exciting all the new games they have on the floor. It's everything else. So when I'm not playing, I'm enjoying every other activity there is. Yeah.
You think that's what always made the Aussie Millions a bit of a standout internationally? I mean, you'd have your Phil Ivies and I mean, everybody would come over back in the day to play the Aussie Millions. Is that what sort of made it a bit different from everything else?
It's not only about the international players and the big name players. It's about the people that started the Aussie Millions. People at Crown that worked the Aussie Millions, that they've spent their time, their effort, and promoting it, making it into a special event. Of course, it doesn't matter who's coming if an event. Yeah, I mean, it's about the people who make it really, and that's what attracts all the international players. That's what brings all the Phil Ivies and Daniel Negreanu's and all these guys to come. It's because it's a great event. It's a great place to be, and the team at Aussie Millions, they should get all the credit for that.
Sure. And of course, being an ambassador, I mean, tell us about how that came about and what does that entail for you?
The funny story is, many years ago, I went to Macau to play some cash games to enjoy Macau and some tournaments. And I met Harold there. Harold is currently the executive general manager at gaming at Crown. And we became really good. We became really good friends. Had a good relationship, a good working relationship with poker. And he knew my history with poker. Also being inducted into the Aussie Millions Poker Hall of Fame a couple of years back. And so when I came to visit family during Christmas, he saw me at Crown one day and he called me and he said to me, "Oh, you're back." And I'm like, "Yes." So now that he's in charge of this place and working hard with making this Aussie Millions great, he said to me, I need you to come and help me. And I need you to come and be an ambassador for poker and the Aussie Millions." And of course, I cannot say and I cannot refuse an offer like that. It's a very proud thing for me to do.
Sure. And what's your schedule going to look like? You're going to play everything you possibly can, or?
Everything. From the opening event till the very last event, I'm there every single day, grinding and playing, commenting on feature tables, being part of the teams, the poker news teams, whoever's running it. I'll be in the poker room pretty much every single minute of the day, and then I'll get some sleep and the breaks.
So I guess, I mean, we've got to talk about the fact that, I mean, you've got a lot of achievements over your career. You mentioned before that, winning the Aussie Millions would be a dream. For someone who, makes a lot of their living grinding cash games and PLO, high stakes, do you look at sort of career goals like tournament win? Is that something that's always been an ambition, or is that just an added extra if you can do it?
I mean, tournaments, you need a bit of luck. When it comes to tournaments, of course, you need a good run of cards. You need to put in a lot of volume, but tournaments is legacy, as you say. Winning a major event. Of course, it comes with money and all that, but also comes with a title, with the prestige. Cash games is just about as you say, it's cash games, the grind. But winning a tournament like the Aussie Millions, you're going to get a huge amount of cash, but also you're going to get the title. And sometimes the title is more important than everything else.
Exactly, go down in history. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, Van. Well, it's
You
been
can always make more money, but
yeah.
getting that legacy, getting the title, that's you got to work on that.
Where no one remembers who finishes second, right? They always remember who won. So
That's right. That's right.
mate, Van, it's been great to catch up with you. I look forward to
Thank you,
seeing
man.
you down at Crown. I'll be down there, of course, for the Aussie Millions. Catch up with you then, and
I'll
good
catch up
luck.
with you, yeah, for sure. Fantastic. It's been a
Thanks,
pleasure.
Van.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.